Doing well. And welcome everybody to another edition of the EGlaze Chronicles. And we're here with Bobeth Yates of CBS 46. This is the 55th edition of the show. So you're number 55, Bobeth.
Well,
glad you returned my message. I don't know if you're coming on or not. So we're glad I know you're working all the time and all that good stuff. So let me ask you this. How did you celebrate Independence Day for Jamaica? How did you celebrate?
All I did is wear a Jamaican attire. That's it. I had a flag on yesterday, the day before, the whole weekend. Yeah, but I didn't do anything.
But, that's one of the things about the pandemic, because Carnival is always around this time and you're missing it this year. Is that one of the biggest things you're missing this year from this pandemic?
You said, am I mentally prepared to deal with it?
Missing it.
I don't know if I'm missing it. What it has done is make me more of a homebody. So before, I'm one of those people, if you get me out, we're good. You'll have a blast. But it takes a lot to get me to leave my house. And now it's even worse because it's now I have every excuse in the world.
Wait a minute. So you're an introvert. That's what you're telling me.
I'm an extrovert. Now, if you get me out, I promise you, it'll be like the time of your life. You're like, wait, who let this crazy person out? But it's hard for me to get out. You have to really put some work in to convince me. Yeah.
Not saying that. I mean, I guess when we see news media personalities, we think you're always out.
Yeah.
So now to hear you say, so when you get home, you just like to crash and do your thing at home. You ain't trying to. You ain't one of those that like to be out like that.
No, I have some work being done on my house today, and the only reason I left my house all day today was because I had to go to Home Depot to pick up some supplies for them. Literally, if it wasn't for that, I would have sat in PJs around the house and done nothing.
Wow.
I know, it's super sad.
News flash, everybody. Bobeth likes to stay home. Get that out there. We'll start with this. What surprised you most about 2020 so far?
That it's been this horrible, one disaster after another disaster. I mean, normally they space them out, you get one every couple of years, but Jesus Christ, first you start off with Corona, then you have all of the riots and the protesting and police brutality. And I promise you, and I hope I don't jinx it, but I feel like all we're missing now is some sort of hurricane or some sort of natural disaster. And it's just crazy. It's just too much.
Thanks. You mentioned that now.
I know. Thanks to everybody. They're going to be mad at me.
I want to start with, you were on the front lines when the whole the riots were going on, and the protesting. I won't say riots. There was some. How was that feeling for you, being out there and covering that, the protests and some of the ruckus that went on? How was that being on the front line for you?
To be honest, it's hard because you're trained as a reporter to try to separate yourself from the situation. But when you're out there, you see the raw emotions that people feel, and you really understand and sympathize because that's how you feel in many instances too. So it's hard to try to separate it and say, okay, well, I'm not out here for work. Instead, I'm out here protesting too, because a lot of times we were walking with the protesters. We were kind of embedded with the whole thing, and standing where the police officers are throwing the flash bombs and the spray, the pepper spray. All of us that were out there, especially my channel, for that first Friday, we all got hit by tear gas. Literally at one point, my head was down. Somebody was just pouring milk over my face. And a few minutes later, I had to be on television. People don't see that whole background of it. I know you interviewed Brittany recently. She was hit with tear gas. Her photographer was bleeding at one point because he was hit with actual, I don't know what it was. Someone was throwing something. So the point is, we were out there in the midst of it. And when the other stations left, and people are like, okay, this is unsafe. A lot of us were still out there because we felt as if, we feel their pain and we sympathized. So we were it was hard for me to grasp and separate saying this issue doesn't impact me. And that's one of the few times I feel like my job kind of, those are the times you really feel like it really pays off because you're really helping someone. You're getting the message out. You're standing up for something. A lot of times we're telling other people's stories, but in that instance, for me, it felt like we're standing up with them and we were like alongside, and it was my responsibility to do better than, some of those other reporters that you hear that may not get the narrative out. Like this is a time for Black reporters to stand up and be supportive and understand that how we present the information could have a major impact. So it was like that sense of this is enormous and I have like this weight to make sure I do it right. But at the same time, I was crazy. Like I was scared, scared is an understatement because you didn't know where things were coming from. Some protesters were, mad at reporters. And then at the other side, you have the police who don't care if you're a protester or not. So you have you're there trying to stay calm and, they're counting you down in your ear, and any given moment you can be hit from any which direction with anything. So for us, it was like, it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with and unpack after the fact too.
So when you got to that point, and you was facing that, I'm trying to get to because I'm trying to understand. You said there was a fear, but did you feel the purpose was bigger than the fear? Did you feel like I had to do something? I can't leave this. This is bigger than just my fear right now.
I think that's one of the reasons why, at least for me, I continue to stay out there, because after a while, a lot of the reporters started getting excuses, not just, in general. You're like, yeah, I don't know if I want to go back out there. A 12-hour day is okay, but I don't know if I want to be hit with tear gas, or I don't know if I feel safe. But one of the reasons, I personally kept on, volunteering or saying, hey, I'll work if you guys need, was because I felt that responsibility. I felt that responsibility of making sure that the message was presented right. And I was hoping that people will look at me and saying, okay, she's one of the good reporters that want to do that, and not be mad and attack me too. But there were instances where, I personally was attacked. Yeah. So, it got scary in some instances where you're like, one gentleman, he didn't pull the gun, but he definitely brandished it and was like, you better back up. And I was like, no worries. I will step off this sidewalk and go about my business.
Wow.
So granted, that only happened once, but the idea is, and it was in the midst of the protest, but it wasn't quite like one of the regular protests that happened that first week. This was like a little later on, maybe last month or so.
Wow. So when you got times like this, and with news being so uncertain daily, do you wake up like,
no,
what to expect? Or are you like, oh, what's going on? I don't want to know what's happening in the world sometimes. Like, for instance, in Baltimore, you saw what happened today, or you see what happened in Beirut. You don't know it's day to day in 2020. How do you wake up every day like, what's going on and what I got to report?
So it's a mixed bag. There's days where I'm like, I'm not watching the news at all. I'm doing Cartoon Network all day or Comedy Central, and I would not know what happened. And I hate to say this, like yesterday was one of those days. I didn't know there was an earthquake until today. Like, no exaggeration. That's real sad, right? But I kind of felt like you have to have those moments where you separate. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to, if I can, find that day, at least one day, where I'm not turning on the news. I'm not watching or reading some news articles, anything, even on social media. Just decompress, because it gets a lot. So when I wake up in the morning and I don't know what I'm going to do, like before, it's that regular anxiety of, okay, man, where are they going to have me? But you're going to be able to tackle it. But now you just never know. You're just like, oh God. what does this mean, and how is it going to, where are they going to send me?
Well, let me ask you, how do you, outside of Cartoon Network and Comedy Central, how do you release? How do you not hold on to the stories with so much going on these days?
Well, because our industry moves so quickly, you kind of have no choice. So by the time the deadline for the 6 o'clock show comes, you probably, if you're having a bad day, you might have been reassigned to another story within the next few hours. Or so by the time that happens, you don't have time to really, normally you don't have time to really grasp and absorb all that stuff. But with the protests, we couldn't help it because it was happening back to back to back. But on a normal day, it's like, let's say I did a story on you. By the time your story airs, I've already been, having to start working on the story for tomorrow. So that kind of keeps you from absorbing too much of it. But the downside with that is you never really process some of the disasters that you experience.
And for everybody who's listening, if you got questions, put them in the comments. I will ask Bobeth. I already got one question that I have to ask you in a few minutes, but I wanted to keep with this. Something like the protest.
Yeah.
How do you keep emotion out of it?
Well, because one, your boss is watching. So it kind of is a little bit of an incentive, especially in something like that. They're super hyper focused on everything you do and say, and everyone is tuned in. So those instances, you're on the ball. You're like, okay, well, I can't say this. I know I need to do this. I need to focus on this. So there's that, tight line you have to balance between not showing that you're afraid of being shot by a rubber bullet and tear gas that's going on like to your right. And then at the same time on your left, you can be like, okay, well, I need to just focus on what I'm about to say. So, it's hard, but it's incentive when you want to keep your job and pay your bills.
I think that would be a good incentive.
Yeah.
Hold on. Sorry about that. I'm going to turn my mic off. Pandemic time. So 2020 is. I thought by now we'd be done with that.
I did.
But we're not.
No, I think I'm gonna give up on the whole year. I'm gonna start again on 2021. I'm giving up.
And now you're saying the school years have been affected, sports have been affected, everything has been affected by this. Out of everything that's went on with the pandemic, what's been the most surprising for you going on with it?
You broke up a little. You said what's been the most what?
Surprising with this pandemic.
That they closed the government down. I would have never thought America would have shut anything down. And it was almost every state. Like everyone kept on asking, you think it's going to shut down? No, there's no way. There's no way. And then it happened. And I was like, oh, shit, they shut the government down. Come on, you can't say you're not surprised by that. Everything was.
Very shocked. Very shocked. Very shocked. And I'm still tripping about the schools and the football. I'm a sports guy.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing bubbles and wobbles and all that stuff. And every time I talk football, it's very shocking. But when you report on this and the political feud and all of that stuff, I mean, what are you hearing from the people? Not just the government, but from the people about this and everything else.
A lot of people don't. I think I'm surprised that we're this fragile. I don't think anyone really realized how fragile society is. I think I took for granted that, things open and close and we just have this life which can go around, do whatever we want, whenever we want. I realized that any given moment now, because of this pandemic, things can just change so quickly. Like it happened within a weekend and our lives were fully changed. And so for me, I think I'm still trying to grasp and absorb that, because I feel like if the pandemic could do something like that, what other things are out there that could put us in a position where everything just kind of shuts down, and just how fragile it all is.
And it's been amazing to see that. Got a couple of questions for you. Cal Butler say, which did you prefer doing before? Meteorologist or traffic reporter?
I prefer meteorologists, but so what people don't realize is prior to being here, I'd never done traffic. And my boss was like, well, you do weather. It's the same thing. Just go out there. And I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. So I like traffic now, but when they first got me involved, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Because, it's the fear. Atlanta's not a little city. So every mistake you make, it's on television. And believe me, they were emailing me all kinds of stuff. That's not the name of that road. This is this is that. And I was like, oh my God. So I literally learned that job on the fly. And but by, I would say like a month or two in it, I was like, okay, I got this. Okay. So, but I definitely would prefer weather only for comfort level. I like traffic though, because you don't have to do that much work.
Wow. Next question from Jimmy Ray Walton. What attracted you to the city?
I'm in trouble.
You are. What attracted you to Atlanta?
I had been in a bunch of other cities where the population was predominantly not Black. And so I wanted to be around Black people. I know that sounds crazy, but I did. My last city was Sarasota, Florida. And I shouldn't say just Black people, because I love Sarasota. It was beautiful and I made amazing friends, lifetime friends. But I am now 40, but at that time, I wanted to go out. I wanted to do things, and I couldn't because everything was closed, and there were like very few young people. So I wanted to be in a bustling city where people look like me.
That's interesting. What do you like least about Atlanta? What do you like most about Atlanta and least about the city?
I can't say what I like. I'm gonna get in so much trouble. The same thing I like is the same thing I hate. Can I say that?
I might let you go with that.
Okay.
You can't. I don't want to get you in trouble.
No. So truthfully, I underestimated the traffic here. Even with the pandemic, it's like was good for a couple, like maybe to May, but now it's back. Like I just trying to go to Home Depot today. It took me 30 minutes to go a mile and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I think the traffic is probably the thing I hate the most. And I keep underestimating it. I love the fact that there's so much things to do, like the variety of things. If I decide I want to leave my house, it's funny because I keep saying, oh, they have this museum and this. I'm going to go. I haven't go, but I love the fact that they're here.
Talk to us about, since you've been here, so much has happened in this city, from the culture, like you said, 2020 has been an interesting thing. But doing news online and reporting news online, how has that been different for you? I think it's year number 3. Just 3?
Oh, no, this market?
No, how many years you been here? 2, 3?
Oh, this I'm in my 2 years. In December, it will be 3.
3
so
years.
My 3-year anniversary.
So what's been like for you reporting in a city like Atlanta with so much going on and the things that you just talked
about? Atlanta is very fast paced. So the last market I was in was part of Tampa, Sarasota was part of Tampa market. And you think Tampa technically is a bigger city, but it was spread out. So how the market worked was it covered like a larger geographical area to get the number of people, versus here, everybody's in Atlanta. And so for Atlanta, it's just a lot more fast paced. You have things happening all the time, where in some of those smaller cities, you may have one thing every now and then, but being like a major metropolitan area, it's been a lot more fast paced here. What was the second part of the question? What?
Just about, what surprised you. You kind of answered it already.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be this fast paced. I thought it was just going to be, same old, same old. And no, Atlanta's definitely. But one thing I do like, people are easy to get interviews with here. It's like everyone isn't as angry or anti-media. Like, so if I call someone, like I'll call you up, hey, I know it's last minute, can I have an interview? You can probably like he and ha for a few minutes, but a lot of times they still do it. Where in many cities, that's harder.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because this year has been a political year with all the stuff that went on with the protesting. People are still open to interviews, or do they want to talk more now?
Yeah, they are, surprisingly. And it's been semi easier, especially with COVID, because now you can do it, FaceTime or things like that. So now they don't have any excuse when they say, oh, I'm busy. Well, we can FaceTime it right now. We got 5 minutes. How about you got 5 minutes? And they, so it's been a little easier there.
Do you like that? Do you like the Zooms or the face-to-face?
No, I don't. Only because of the technical issues, though. I like the convenience of doing the interview, but to get that video into the system to edit, to then send back to the station, and people don't like the whole working from home thing didn't work well for me. Yeah, every moment I was like, oh, I'm not an engineer. I don't know what's going on with the computer. It's not working. I'm pressing buttons. It's not working. So I have no idea.
Work from home, no, but relaxation at home. So that's how you like to do it. Okay.
Come in, sit on the couch, and I have a huge couch. I can just recline back. Turn around, watch the TV.
So have you binge watched anything?
Oh, yes, I'm catching up on Shy. So I shouldn't say catching up. I'm starting on Shy. I just finished season 1 yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
I won't remember that.
So I'm going to do season 2. I don't think I have enough time. I was going to say I'll be done by tomorrow, but I would have to stay up all night. I don't think I'll be able to do that tonight.
That's a lot to go through.
Yeah.
So just get back to you. Kyle asked, do you have a favorite song to work out to?
My favorite song right now?
To work out to.
Oh, no, not to work out to.
Yeah. So what do you like that? So, all right, I'm going to ask you. You can tell me to shut up if you need to.
That's okay.
What are your thoughts on a particular song that came out last week by Cardi B? Have you had a chance to hear that song?
I haven't. Let me see if I can Google it. So it's what by Cardi B?
She's 50. It's very controversial right now, and I want to see your thoughts on it. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion put out a song. And I was wondering if you had time to listen to that song.
I haven't, but I'm about to go listen to it.
Be very careful with that song. It's very interesting to say.
Okay, I'm back. Hold on. Let's see.
Be very careful with that song.
I won't turn it up so your viewers won't get upset about it. Okay, let's see. Apple Music. Is it this one?
Yeah, that one. So, as you hear, it's already kind of crazy as you start off with it. So
I turned it down. But that's a remake.
No, actually, it's a piece of a song that if you listen to the rest, you'll understand. But that's the hottest song in the streets right now. It's millions.
See, that's how behind I am. I didn't hear about this.
Oh man.
Well, thanks for putting me on.
Yeah, once you finish with it, you might cut me out afterwards, but put it out there for you.
This is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Wow.
This is awesome, this reaction at the same time.
I know, this is a lot. She said, park the Big Mac truck in the garage. Okay. That's what she just said.
Yes, that's right.
I could do a 2-step to this in the club.
Okay, all right. Just
now, can I co-sign any of these lyrics? Probably not. Probably not. I'm a grown woman. My mom will beat me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's hot in the streets right now. That came out last week.
I made it to the chorus, and I was like, okay. So what? Just between you and me, not anybody else. I'm about to send the song to all my girlfriends and say, hey, have you heard this? And pretend that I'm like hip and on top of it.
You have to do your journalistic part to verify this song because it's the song out there in the street. What type of music do we get down to? I mean, I think I know you told me this before, but what kind of music do you rock out to? What's the song that you listen to now?
So I do listen to hip hop, but usually I'm just not as up to date. So like I listen to XM radio. So whatever they play on the Heat or Hip Hop Nation is what I hear when I'm driving.
Gotcha.
So, and that's really the only time I listen to music.
What has 2020 taught you about yourself this year?
That I really can isolate with no problems, which is not good. Like I can quarantine for probably 30 days and not have no problem.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll be good with it.
How have you protected yourself with all the coronavirus when you go out for reporting? Like
so, been wearing masks. I've decided not to wear gloves. My sister is can't remember what kind of doctor she is. So anyway, she says that the gloves transfer. Right, she's something. I don't remember. So she has gloves. She says gloves transfer the bacteria more because people touch things and don't pay attention and then just touch all kinds of stuff. So I only wear the mask. Now I'm going to start wearing the face shield just to be extra. It's not anything, just because, you have the mask. Now you put the face shield. I don't know.
So you extra with it now?
I think that's what I think I'm going to go with. I have like the face shield and the mask at once.
So when people will walk up on you with this, how would you react to them? Like, yo, step back, or you just like you started the job, or how would you react?
No, so far I haven't been that way. I have been like in lines and people are not following like the 6 feet thing. And I'm like, excuse me, hello, do you see the tape on the floor? Like I have been that person, but I had to calm myself down and say, stop before I got beat up. Because, I'm real little and I didn't want to get beat up. So I decided to stop doing that. But at first I was like, why are you so close? This ain't 6 feet. Back up. I mean, in line, like to people I don't know. It was really bad for a moment. I said, okay, stop it. So I decided to stop being a Karen.
But I imagine it's hard for you not to get recognized. Do people recognize you now?
Yeah. So, and I thought like with the mask on, people couldn't tell who I am. But apparently you can still see who you are with the mask. Like I have a little face, so my mask go like all the way up to here. Let me see if I have one close by. I don't, but it goes like my mask usually goes like all up to here. And then I was wearing my glasses all last week. I only put on the contacts for this interview, so you guys know. Why are you laughing at me? I'm serious.
Because I'm just, I just thinking about you with your glasses on and your mask like this, and people still like, "Hey, Bobeth, how you see me?"
So my mask like goes up. I think I have one in my purse, which is right here. But yesterday, I went to Home Depot, and on my way from Home Depot, I went to get a car wash. And when I say I looked a full on mess, I looked a full on mess. Like it was really bad. But I didn't think anyone would notice me. And they were like, Bobeth Yates. And I was like, God, seriously? Like, look, it covers my whole face. Like, look.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Heartbroken. But look, you can't tell who this is, but they knew. They knew. They were coming up to me at the car wash and was like, "You're Bobeth Yates," and I was like, and I was wearing mismatched clothes. I had socks and sandals on, thong sandals. I had neon green socks, beige sandals that went through my toes, and a Jamaica shirt that didn't match my yoga pants. And I was just going to get something from Home Depot. Then I would stop at the car wash on my way. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I had no makeup on. My hair looked a mess.
Do you worry about that because of the image that you sometimes have to portray when you go out? Do you worry about it?
Because you know how we talk about people. I don't want people to be like, man, I saw Bobeth. She looked a mess.
And you know, with social media, they're like, ooh, here go Bobeth, y'all.
Yep. Look, she got neon socks on with sandals. And that's all I could say. Then I was like, just take the socks off. And I was like, no, they've already seen you with it. If you take it off now, you gonna really look a mess. So I just said, you know what? Embrace. You should not have left your house like this. This is what you get.
Wow. Jimmy said he preferred Bobeth with the glasses. So I mean, so you got some people like the glasses. So you know, what's next for Bobeth?
Well, so my contract is up in December, but I do want to stay here. So hopefully that when we negotiate contracts and everything, it'll work out that I can stay here, especially since I just bought a house. So I would like to stay here. To be honest, I think Atlanta is one of the best cities I've been in. Like just overall, if I were to calculate everything, it's been one of the better cities for me. So I don't want to leave you guys just yet.
I'm gonna go ahead and get my email. Everybody listen. Let's write the studio 46 now. We don't need Bobeth leaving. Let's get this straightened out. We don't need these problems. So
I take all the support I can get.
We're not gonna let this happen. I know a few people over there, so flex the muscle. Great question, Kyle. How did you become the lead reporter for the Fight Squad Veterans Program?
It was really accidental. We had a reporter, Natalie Rubino, who was doing it before me. She left. And I ended up doing a veteran story on a random, and someone was like, well, who can replace Natalie and take it to a whole nother level? And someone was like, well, Bobeth just did that veteran story, give her the opportunity. And it was funny because at that point I was doing traffic. So they took me off traffic to do the vets. So it was like, it was almost like a bittersweet, but I can't explain to you when these vets call and they're really having a hard time and you figure out how to solve something they've been dealing with for a year or years, man, the feeling I get by just being able to say I helped them and to know that whatever problem they had, they don't have anymore has been amazing. Like it's been like some of these guys and women have been in bad situations. Like earlier this year, there was this lady who was hurt while she was serving and they wouldn't give her her pension. And it was just some weird thing. And she had been battling for almost 10 years. We did the story and they gave her back pay. I was like, ma'am, I might need to take a percentage. but no, seriously, like you start thinking about like that and people that are homeless now all of a sudden they're off the street. Like the stories are making a real difference in their lives. It's not like a regular story. So I really like it. And they've just allowed me to continue doing it because I've been lucky that the VA has been working with me. And honestly, I'll just say it's luck because some of the stories that I present, I don't even know how we solve it for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the most memorable story? And I don't want to ask you, but is this some of the most memorable stories that you've done? Has there ever been a story that just got to Bobeth and you felt like you carried it around with you and you still try to keep up with it?
There's one story, but this was years ago. But it's stuck with me, not for good reasons though. It stuck with me because it was such a sad situation. So every now and then I start thinking about the kid who was the subject of the story. And I wonder where he is now and how his life turned out. But that story was I can't remember his age. I want to say he was 4. A 4-year-old witnessed the murder and they put him on the stand. And he described, verbatim to the T of what he saw. And the whole back and forth was, can a 4-year-old really be counted on for their testimony and how this would impact his life going forward. But covering that story from the time the crime happened to, when the trial happened, that has always stuck with me. But here, the stories that stick with me are now positive. They're the ones that someone was like, hey, I have been waiting to, like, one lady that has become my friend. Her name is Miss Gwen. Miss Gwen was waiting. She's a veteran that was waiting on surgery. She had she sprained her ankle and they wouldn't fix it for like 2 years. So it then started growing all kinds of other stuff. I don't know what you call them. Hemoglobin. I don't know. I'm probably going to mess it up. Started growing something and her foot swole up like this. And she couldn't walk for like 2 years and she couldn't get surgery. And so I did a couple of stories with Miss Gwen and just kept on talking to her. Now me and Miss Gwen is cool. Like I called Miss Gwen the other day, like, how you doing? Just talking to you. But she even made me a mask to wear. She was the first one that made me a personal mask. And so that stuck with me, to know that now this lady can walk, literally. Before she was in a walker and couldn't stand and had been battling with the VA for years to get foot surgery. And then, like, after we got involved, now she can walk. Like, that's huge.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, my last question before we start off. When Bobeth tells a story, what do you want people to get from your story, from your report?
Understanding. What I hope is, I feel like all of us have different perspective based on where we grew up, our family, everything. And what I hope is that through telling that story, we can be a little bit more understanding of another person in their situation.
Awesome.
Yeah, so.
Where can they find you at?
My house. No. No. So I'm on all social media and my name is always the same, Bobeth Yates. So I don't change it up.
Which one do you do more?
Huh?
Which social media do you do more?
Instagram is definitely where you would find me more. Facebook, I post there, but usually only through Instagram. So I don't even go there to check a lot. And Twitter, I really only do for work.
So Instagram, everybody.
Yeah. And I refuse to download TikTok, but I might be giving in soon.
You would be great for TikTok. I'm going to leave it at that. You would be great for it. You would be great for it. Well, thank you, Bobeth. We appreciate it. You were on evening news. What days of the week?
So Tuesday through Friday until the end of September. Tuesday through Friday, normally 4, 5, or 6 o'clock newscast. Tomorrow, though, I'm working nights because of the election. So I won't be to work until 2:30. I might get catch up on the shy.
She's catching up on the shy, everybody. Bobeth, yeah, thank you. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Hopefully I wasn't too crazy. I'm not going to get in trouble because of you. I'm going to say, I don't remember saying that.
Well, Jimmy did ask me what was your favorite club in the age before the pandemic.
Oh, so, Jimmy? Is it Jimmy Jones?
Jimmy Ray Walton.
Huh?
Jimmy Ray Walton said, what was your favorite club in the age before the pandemic?
So I don't know if you guys know him, but one of my favorite promoters is this guy named Jimmy Jones. He used to be on that show, I don't know what it's called, Ready to Love. Well, anyway, he's a promoter in the city. So whatever party that he was throwing, I would go. He was like homeboy from Florida State days, was throwing parties back then. Yeah, in the late 90s. So wherever he threw a party, I was like, okay. So, but that would be Rose Bar, a day party on like a Sunday or a Saturday. I don't remember which day. It was a day party on one of those weekend days. And let's see. I can't remember the name of it, but it's not too far from Rose Bar. It's on the other side.
Jennifer, I take your word.
No.
I'm a little older, so I don't hit the club.
You don't go to the clubs?
I mean, I do, but not like that.
Where you go to club at?
You know, I have friends at Sweet Wine. I got friends over there.
You never invited me out to party with you.
You working all the time, but that's all right. We'll keep it going. Bobeth Yates, everybody. Yeah, 4, 5, and 6. This week's election, which is going to be insane, especially if you're covering the DA election. That should be very exciting in the city of Atlanta.
It is going to be. That's one of those races that people don't realize is so important. So you have to go out to vote, regardless of where you stand. Please, everybody, tomorrow's election, if you haven't voted yet, early voting, go out to one of those polls, then come back out in November. Please. Please, Lord.
Very important. 2020 is showing you how important it is. Thank you both again. We got to do this again.
Anytime, you let me know. Now that I can do it from my living room, I almost gave you guys a tour. I was gonna do like Cribs. Remember Cribs? Walk around.
First of all, this is my spot, y'all. Yeah, this is my spot.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you, both. We'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.